guys, welcome to my channel. My name is ReadingBear and I hope you are ready for some more stories. And today, we'll take a look at some new I Don't Work Here Lady content. If you enjoyed my content, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and post some bear emojis in the comment. And now, let's dive right into the stories.
The first story is titled, "You're in the Wrong Country If You Think People Are Going to Do That For You." Here's your important background on me. I'm a British national who has been working in another country for a couple of years. I haven't been home at all during this time, so this year I saved up all my holiday, okayed it with my bosses, and decided to use it all on coming home from now until the new year. My flight touched down mid-afternoon yesterday at Big International Airport. I had opted to hire a car to use since I'm planning a couple of day trips to visit friends who now live across the country. It just so happened that the company I was going with had an empty-to-empty fuel policy. There was just enough fuel in the car to get you to the nearest petrol station, and you didn't have to bring it back with any specific amount of fuel in the tank. This all begins at the petrol station about 5 minutes down the road from the car hire place. I feel like this isn't a surprise to anyone reading, apart from the antagonist of this story, but she appears in a minute. But in the UK, on the whole, we fill up our own petrol tanks. People paid to pump your petrol for you are not a thing. If you go into really rural areas with no other petrol stations for miles around, you might get a hand from the one member of staff there, but that's it. This is the same in my country of work also. You mostly pay over the counter in the shop connected to the station, but for some of the chain petrol stations, you can pay at the pump itself via a PIN machine. Sorry if this is like teaching your grandmother to suck eggs, and you know this already. It just so happens that this petrol station in question had the pay at pump option. The queue for paying behind the counter was massive, so I decided when I pulled in to pay at the pump. There was a bit of a wait to get to a free pump, and while waiting I noticed out of my window that a car just turning into the petrol station was a hired car by the same company as mine. At the time it was just something to spot, but I didn't realize that I would be front and center in their crosshairs. I eventually pull into a space, get out the car, and start filling it up. I finish and reach into my pocket to get my card out to pay when there's a tap on my shoulder. I look across and there's an, I would guess, mid-30s woman standing there looking angry. I should note that I myself am a woman in my late 20s and was wearing the jogging bottoms and university hoodie that I had traveled in, so definitely in no discernible uniform at all. I'll be calling her Shouty American, SAW, for short. SAW, finally someone appears. Can you tell these other cars to move so we can get into this space next? Me, tired because flying is draining and confused. No. They were here before you. SAW, but they're not with car hire company. You're because your car says so. Get them to move and then hit pumping our gas. Me, I'm not employed by anyone, I just hired the car. Also, no one's going to pull any petrol in your car other than yourself. At this point, I turned away from her so I could pay, and she did not like that. SAW, pulling my arm away from the screen, I don't want pet roll. The fact that she was trying to make fun of my accent was just odd. I want gas. We were told to fill up here, and if you don't do it, I will drag you to that office and watch as you get fired. Obviously, because she is on the verge of shrieking at me and has created a scene, a member of staff comes over and asks what is happening. I was going to politely explain that the woman just seemed to be a little bit confused over what she's been told by the car hire company, but she gets in there first. SAW, this employee of your partner from Care Hire Company is terrible. She's refusing to pump my gas. Staff member, SM, to me, do you work for Car Hire Company? Me, no, I just hired the car and needed to fill it up, and now I need to pay. SAW, no, she works for them. Look at the stickers on her car. They're the same stickers on every hire car. SM, to her, madam, I don't think this lady works for Car Hire Company. I think we just need to let her move on so she can leave, and we can keep everyone moving. We also don't have any contracts with Car Hire Company to begin with. At this point, there are about 8 cars parked behind the car that she was in, since the driver hadn't thought to move into one of the now many free spaces next to the pumps, and many more indicating that they want to enter the petrol station. But SA seemed oblivious to this. SAW, I want someone to fill up my car now. I don't care if you fill it up with petrol and not gas. She seemed to have no clue that petrol and gasoline are literally the same thing. You're all lucky that I don't film this and stick it on Facebook, so you all get shamed and fired. SM, getting annoyed as there were people shouting and car horns blaring because of the blockage. You're in the wrong country if you think people are going to do that for you. Please tell the driver of your car to move, or we will have to have the car towed for an illegal obstruction. I'm pretty sure this isn't a thing, but I sensed the guy was just hedging his bets that Shouty had no clue what the law was. She eventually signaled for the driver to move into a space, to the wonderful sound of British sarcastic cheers. It's good to be home. While the staff member apologized profusely for what had happened and offered me anything in the shop on the house, I went home with a tank full of petrol, a deluxe Christmas sandwich, and a good story to tell to my family. That probably wasn't the welcome to the UK that Shouty expected, but it was the one she deserved. The next story is titled, One of My Supervisors Tried Calling Me After I Quit. Some years ago, I worked at a place that rhymes with McNaldo's. You know, the place that sells heart attacks as food and advertises it with an ugly clown. Anyway, I worked for them for 6 grueling years. In those 6 years, I've got hundreds of stories, but this one stays with me since it was the first one that happened right after I quit. First off, my reason for quitting was that they wouldn't accommodate my one simple request to leave through an alternate exit due to my abusive ex waiting for me in their lobby every day. Every day I came to work in an Youre to avoid walking into him, and every day he'd come in, order something, and sit for hours staring and glaring at me until my shift would end. He would then follow me outside the door and try to harass me while I'd get into an Youre, only to then show up at my apartment to keep threatening me or to break windows. I begged them for a solid month to just let me leave through another door to get a head start to my ride, and every single time I get some bullcrap answer, and they'd tell me I was overreacting. I basically got sick of constantly wondering which day would be the day he'd come in there with a gun, and I told my supervisor if she wouldn't let me leave through an alternate exit, then I'd quit. She laughed in my face. Let's name her Mary. About a week later, after I called, left a nice resignation letter to the big boss who totally understood, and after dealing with unemployment, I get this phone call. S. Mary, the supervisor. M. Me. S. Suo, when are you coming in Crepe Suzette? Because you've been gone about a week and we're short-staffed. I know the other bosses let you do whatever you like, but I'm putting my foot down, girl. You better be here in 4 to 5 or you're fired. M. You remember the last time I worked with you? S. Yeah. Over a week ago, boo. You can't keep playing these games, girl. This crap isn't cute. Your little boyfriend hasn't been here either, so you can calm down now. M. Yeah. No. I told you that since you couldn't accommodate my one request, I would quit. I'm even collecting unemployment already. S. So, are you coming in or not? Because if you're not, I'm writing you up and I'll make sure you never work anywhere again. M. Mary. I don't work for you. I quit. I quit. I'm literally collecting unemployment as we speak. What don't you understand? S. You have 30 minutes. M. Fine, I'll be there. Obviously, I didn't go in, but I did block Mary's number and had the time of my life greeting random coworkers she would send to my house to try and get them to bring me into work. She was nuts. My coworkers just got a kick out of getting paid to walk 4 to 5 minutes to my house and chill. The ex was taken care of legally eventually, and I've since moved, but memories of that conversation always remind me of this subreddit. The next story is titled, I'm Not a Rental Boyfriend for Hire. There was a girl in my high school that was gay and had parents that were very against the idea of being so. I basically agreed to be her beard for 2 years on high school because they often pressured her into getting one and asked if she was gay beforehand. We had kissed in pictures on an account she used that her siblings saw and other people had found it and knew the story of why we did what we did. Fast track to about a week ago. I ran into someone else that knew me, but I didn't know them from HS at a party, and they said they wanted to seem successful with a boyfriend that was doing well and was okay looking. Dialogue is roughly as follows her. So could you come to a dinner for Christmas with me and seem super into me? Me? That's weird and I'd do that well her. Well, you did for old friend and took the money, so why not me? Am I not pretty enough to fake date? Me? Well, I wasn't paid to do that. It was a favor. And I once again don't know you and don't want to spend my Christmas faking being intertwined into another family dynamic her. So I'm not pretty enough or you assume I don't have enough money. At this point, multiple of her friends are saying if I'm already a prostitute, then why not do it unless I think she's too ugly or something? Me? I think this is a gross exaggeration of what it was. I'm not a gigolo and don't do anything like this for money. They start saying they will pull a fund together for this, and I assume this is some kind of drunk chick thing and walk away. I later am asked to leave for calling them ugly. I didn't, and am called an a-hole by an assortment of women on the way out. Was there a better way to handle this, or are drunk people just looking for a reason to be mad? The next story is titled, I'm the comedian, but you're the joke. I do stand-up comedy sometimes. I was performing at a bar/restaurant deal and was sitting in the back taking care of some emails waiting for my set time. I went to the bar to get a drink, had a chat with the bartender for a few minutes, then got the signal I had 5 minutes till show, so went back. When I got to the back room, I realized I'd left my phone on the bar, so ran out again to collect it. Enter Karen, not her real name, of course. At a table just left of dead, center facing the stage. Right by the back entrance I'd been popping in and out of all night. In a big group of 6 or 7 people, but even in my brief forays out, I could hear her shrill voice dominating their conversation. I guess here is as good a place as any to mention I was wearing a yellow sweatshirt and cargo shorts. The servers there wear all black. Karen, sir, excuse me, sir. Me, what's up? Karen, can you check on our food, please? All we ordered were some wings and it's been like half an hour already. Me, your server can help you with that. I'm not a waiter. Karen, what? Oh, dish boy, line cook, whatever. You work here, so just when you go back there ask about my food. Me, oh, no, you see I'm. Karen, no, I get it. You aren't a waiter, but you work here. Me, kind of, let me explain. Someone in her party, I don't think he's a waiter. Karen, shut it, okay, I've got this. You work here. You can bring me my food, just a quick lil, you know, trot, carry, boom, done. Me, I can't do that. Karen, ungodly shriek/grunt/shrunt, why not? Others in her party, Karen, oh my gosh, quiet down. They tried to wave me away. I was weighing in my mind whether walking away had the higher chance of getting me fired from future gigs there or staying and getting into it with her did. I was just going down the stay and get into it with her track when the MC gets up there and goes, now a special treat for our patrons tonight, local comedian. So I just stop myself, lock eyes with Karen, walk backwards to the stage unflinching. I grab the microphone, her table is cracking up realizing what's happened, and I say, well, I hope to do a show for you tonight, folks, but looks like that won't be possible. Apparently, I've been reassigned. I start riffing about people who think you work there when you don't and accuse you of lying, and how absurd a concept that is. But then it's too perfect. The waitress is coming out with wings and headed straight for her table. I know the waitress, I've performed here before. So I transition and I'm just like, you caught me, lady. Can't hide anymore. And I grab the wings from the waitress and I'm like, ooh, Donna, I see you trying to hone in on my section. Can't you see this is my table? And all throughout the rest of the bit, I would go over and fill their water glasses, bust their plates. Whenever I hit a dry spot, I was like, all right, hold on. Got to check in with my customers. Can I interest you in any dessert? How we doing over here? Speak in the mic, please. Karen hated it, but the others at her table were dying laughing and would even sometimes flag me down for water or appetizers. The set ends and Karen goes to file a complaint. Her friends or coworkers, whoever, try to stop her from doing so, and some leave the venue because of her. A couple stay back to try and defend me, and I told them not to worry because the manager and I were cool. But they got to see for themselves. The manager is an old-school Armenian guy, and he has no tolerance for this bullcrap. This particular venue was a biker bar before the area got gentrified, so he's used to dealing with way rowdier customers than Karen. So she's going off about mistreatment at the hands of his employee and how I'm probably not licensed to be a food server law, and that she wanted something done. The manager plays dumb just to see her get worked up and goes, who? This guy. Even though the entire floor saw me give her a hard time. Shrunting yes. Manager, he doesn't work for me. Karen, what the duck are you talking about? Manager, it's 11:30 p.m. He worked for me from 10:00 p.m. until 11:00 p.m. That's what I paid him for as a freelancer. That's over. Now, he's just some guy, Karen. Well, when he was working for you, he was rude and abstinent. Me? What? On stage? Of course I was abstinent. It's not that kind of show. Karen, shrunting. You know what I mean. See? He's making fun of how I talk. Manager. He's a comedian. That's what I paid for. Karen. I was a customer treated poorly in your establishment. He was acting as a server here when he served me and I want a refund on my meal, or at the very least, turning dramatically to me, Gollum voice, an apology. Me, all right, I might have been a little rude towards the end there, but in my defense, she didn't tip. Manager, is that true? Did you not tip? Karen, why would I have tipped the comedian? Manager, I thought you said he was acting as a server. Karen was a little tipsy at this point, so somehow drunk logic convinced her smashing a glass would get her point across. All it did was get the manager to have her bounced. Her remaining friends apologized to the manager and said they barely knew her, and they hoped this wouldn't mean they couldn't come in there anymore without her, and he was super nice about it. I told them I hoped I hadn't put a damper on their night, and they said they can't wait to tell everyone else about Karen's outburst. So, I don't have a career as a waiter in my future. Kudos to all you service workers who put up with these insufferable people day in and out. The next story is titled Lady is Reporting Me to the Medical Board. I'm an architect. I work in an architecture firm, in a large building that also contains many other types of professional offices. The receptionist for my firm is on another floor. My office is on an upper floor, in a corner, so it's not a logical place for people to go first when they come to our building and don't know where they're going. Nevertheless, it has a door directly to a main corridor, so lost people occasionally knock on it, which is why we have a sign on it with the name of our firm and directing people to our receptionist on the third floor. Alas, the sign did not deter this middle-aged, impatient lost lady and her husband from knocking on my door. Lady, is this the doctor's office? Me. No, this is an architecture firm. Lady, how do I get to the doctor's office? Me. There are building directories in the stairs and at the elevator. I start to give her directions to stairs and elevator, but she interrupts. Lady, getting huffy and impatient and pushing her way past me right into the middle of my office. Why can't you just tell me where the doctor's office is? Me. I'm sorry, but there are a lot of offices in this building, including at least 10 doctor's offices, and I don't know their floors or office numbers. Lady, can't you call and find out? Me, I'd be happy to let you use my phone. Lady, why can't you call? Me, sensing I'm not going to get rid of her unless I call somebody. What's the doctor's name? Do you have the number? Lady, I don't remember his name. I have a 2:15 appointment. I'm going to be late. Note that this is not an elderly woman, and I just wasn't getting the sense that this was a confused old person with a memory issue. But still, I'm trying to be nice and helpful, even if just to get her out of my office. Me, I'm sorry, but without a name or number, I don't think I can call the doctor's office for you. Maybe I can Google this address and see what doctor's offices show up, and that will jog your memory. Lady, I don't have time for this. Call the building manager. I explained to the woman that I don't have contact info for building management, and there's no staff main office in this building. We're back to there's nothing I can do except suggest that she walk down the hall and check the building directory at the stairs. Her husband is trying to drag her in that direction, but she's not having it. Lady, you are the worst receptionist. Businesses don't know how to get good people these days. I'm going to tell the doctor about you. Me, I'm sorry, but I'm not the receptionist and I don't work for your doctor. I'm an architect. You're in my office. In case that isn't obvious, from the fact that the door opens directly into my small, messy office filled with drawings. Our firm's receptionist is on the third floor, as the sign on my door says. Lady, well, why didn't you say so? I will go wait down there. Me, wait for what? We're an architecture firm. Our receptionist works for the architecture firm. We have nothing to do with the doctor's offices or any other companies in the building. Lady, you called her and tell her I'm on my way down there. At this point, her husband seems to be grasping that I and my office and my firm have nothing to do with her doctor, whose name escapes her, and starts trying to explain it to her. She brushes him off and yells at me again to call my receptionist. I dial our receptionist, with the lady still standing there, and say that the couple is on their way down, but that they are looking for a doctor's office in the building, and I hope that they will read the building directory in the stairs on their way down. Lady, well, I have never before actually heard that phrase used in real life. I thought it was reserved for caricatures of uptight entitled old women on TV. Like Nellie Olson's mother. She flounced off down the hall, that's like stomping, but floatier because she was suspended by hot air, dragging her husband. I thought that since they had to use the stairs or elevator to get to our reception area, they would see the directory on their way down, and it would jog their memory as to which doctor they were looking for, and it would tell them where to find that doctor. But no, she did find her way down to pester our receptionist, and told her that I was a horrible employee, and that she was reporting me to the state medical board. If you enjoyed the video, Please subscribe to the channel and post some bear emojis in the comments.